Christian, welcome to India. I
Thank
know
you.
this isn't your first time here, but what are you enjoying more about this visit?
Having a bit more time here
Yeah.
and more time with my family to explore. We had 4 days before we got to Mumbai, where we went to Delhi and Jaipur and Agra, and had that tiny amount of experience in India. But it's been wonderful, and I hope to come back again.
Yeah. You know, Mowgli is a film that we hold so close to our hearts. I just want to know from you, what made you want to be a part of this film?
I think it's something. It's obviously a story that's very special to India.
Yeah.
And it's so appropriate that we premiere the film here in India. But it is a story that I think touches people globally. The story of belonging and trying to find where you belong and who you truly are. The joy of running wild with animals and that fantasy that I think everyone has at some point in their lives. And the different interpretations as well, which have all been wonderful. You know, I love the musical, animated version, the more recent Disney versions, fantastic. You don't have to choose one or the other. It shows what a wonderful piece of writing it was, that you can have such very different films as ours, which stays somewhat more true to Kipling's original writings, and you can have Disney's recent one, and you can enjoy both of them. That's a wonderful story.
Yeah. You know, just seeing the absolutely phenomenal physical transformations you've gone into just to become characters, I feel compelled to ask you, how far would you go to be able to tell a good story?
Well, I do think that obsession is something that everybody can enjoy, and it can become a healthy thing or an unhealthy thing. But if you try to keep a healthy obsession, it increases the quality of your life, and it increases the enjoyment for me with my work. I think also people deserve that. There's so many stories to choose from. I want to see something that people really strive for and love and will do anything to achieve. One of the biggest inspirations in my life is actually nothing to do with acting, but it's Jimi Hendrix as a guitar player.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid watching him, not live obviously, would have loved that,
Yeah.
but watching him perform and just thinking how extraordinary it was and how he was just elevating himself to a different place. And I always thought, wow, I want to see if I can apply that, but in an acting version instead. And so that's the satisfaction I get from it.
So what do you do then to just get into the mind space of your character? You know, I've heard of actors use perfumes and music. What's your trick? What do you resort to?
I don't have any technique that's consistent.
Okay.
I'm not a trained actor. I did a couple of weekends at a YWCA, and that was it. So I make it up each and every time. Some people say I'm a method actor, but that involves training in method acting, and I've never done that, so I'm not that. It's whatever you need, and that's what I always think. You know, with any actor, I always support whatever they need to do, as long as they're not being selfish. You have to understand, you have to help everybody else, you can't hinder anyone else. As long as they're not doing that, it's whatever you need, whatever you have to do for that particular character, and it changes for every single character.
You know, I have to ask about Vice as well. It's easily thrown you as one of the frontrunners of the Academy this year. And I know Variety did a review where they called it one of the most urgent and important films of the year. What do you feel is your responsibility as an actor to the society that you live in?
I think that I'm incredibly fortunate to be able to do something that I love. And I love storytelling. And I recognize that not everybody gets to do something that they love. And therefore, in the vein of what we were talking about, my responsibility is never to be lazy with that, but always to strive for the absolute best story you can possibly achieve. And I'm a servant in many ways as well, though, to the director, right? It's their story.
Sure.
They're the ones who are telling me what they need from me, what style they need me to adapt to. and then they choose what scenes they include, how they adjust it. But it's always to exhaust yourself completely, you know, give absolutely everything that you have to a performance.
Yeah. And finally, we know that hugely popular Bollywood actors have dubbed for Mowgli, whether it is Abhishek Bachchan, Kareena Kapoor, so many huge names from the world that I come from. Have you at all consumed or familiar with what comes out of Indian cinema?
I have, but not for many years, because I haven't consumed what comes out of American or English cinema or any cinema at all for a number of years, because I'm a dad and I don't get to choose what is on the TV. And so I watch what my kids watch. And when I do get an opportunity to sit down and start watching a film that I want to watch, usually I've got a 4-year-old on my head who's hanging in front of me, talking with me as I'm trying to watch. And so I've sort of missed out on films for a number of years. I'll get back to it one day when he's too big to sit on my head. But right now, I have to accept that that's my viewing experience, is the upside down view of my son.
We have some good stuff to offer, I assure you. So do make the time for it.
Right.
And thank you so much for chatting with us. It's an absolute pleasure to host you in our
Thank you.
country, and I hope you get to see more of it. Thank you.
I hope so too.